Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm. All right. So we're gonna be modeling integer subtraction using these two color counters. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna review what we already know with our counters. So let's take a look at that first one. We always start by laying out the counters for that first add-in. So this is going to be 4 positives. And then you add 4 negatives. Does anybody remember what the value of that is? Go ahead, Sophia. 0. You guys all agree? Yes. Yeah, 0? Okay. So this has a value of 0. So these basically pair off and make these 0 pairs here that have a value of 0. So when I draw this out with my little colors here, I have 4 positives and 4 negatives. Okay, and these create what we call a 0 pair. So the value of this together is 0, and there's no counters left, so it's just 0. Okay. Now let's take a look at the next one. We start with 1 negative, and then we add 1 positive, right? What's the value of this? 0, right. Okay, so let's draw it out. We have 1 negative, 1 positive, and all together this has a value of 0. Okay, so your answer here is 0. Okay, let's just remember, I know we have it defined in our notes before, but 2 numbers with a sum of 0 are called?
0 pairs.
Hey, you guys are awesome. So let's write that in, 0 pair. I really wanted to make sure you knew what those were because we're going to be using that a lot today. Okay, so let me scoot this up. Okay, and again, we're going to do 2 more review problems just so that we can see what happens when it's not a complete 0 pair. So we're going to start with the number 3, that first one. So we have 1, 2, 3 positives, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. Okay, now if you remember back to when we learned this last week, we can pair these up, right? So if we pair these up, and these up, this has a value of 0 right here. So I can pull these off to the side. And what I'm left with is 2 negatives. 2 negatives. So I know the answer here is going to be -2. So let's draw this out now. I have 3 positives and 5 negatives. Now I can combine these to create a 0 pair. So this part right here has a value of 0, and what I'm left with is those 2 negatives right there. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you're like, yeah, I remember this. I'm good. Okay. Some of you remember. All right. Let's take a look at that next one. We start with -2. They still haven't fixed that bell. I don't know what that's for. It just rings every day in the middle of second period.
It's the Monday bell that they forgot to ring yesterday.
Yes, seriously. They have it on the wrong day. Okay, so this is -2, and then we're going to add -9. just walk out? Oh, you gave him, got it. Okay. Well, in this case, we don't have any 0 pairs, right? So we're just going to count this up. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So altogether we have 11 negatives. So we know that our solution here is going to be negative 11. And I'll draw my picture in too so that you can see. We had 2 negatives, 9 negatives, and altogether, that is 11 negatives. All right, so now that we've had a chance to review, let's take a look at what happens when we subtract, okay? All right, that first example right there says 3 minus 5. So we have 3 positives. So put 3 positives out there. Or if you don't have your counters, you should be drawing them. And then we're supposed to take away 5 positives. But can we do that? Do we have 5 positives to take away? I only see 3 there. Yeah, so I have my 3 positives and I'm supposed to take away 5 positives, but I don't have enough. Well, we know that 0 pairs have a value of 0, right? So let's just do this. What if I add 2 0 pairs? This still overall has a value of positive 3, right? Because this is 0 right here. This part right here is 0. So if I add 2 0 pairs, nothing has changed. This still has a value of 3 like it's supposed to. But now guess what? I have 5 positives that I can take away, right? So I can take away these 5 positives, and I'm left with what? 2 negatives. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw that real quick. Okay, we have 3 positives, so 1, 2, 3. And like I said, I didn't have 5 positives to take away, so I added 2 0 pairs. That way I would have enough positives. So 1, 2. Okay, let's put a little note there too. I'm going to put a little arrow that says add 2 0 pairs, just so that when I'm looking back at my notes and studying, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I did that, okay? Now I have 5 positives to take away, so I take away my 5 positives. Okay, this and this has a, so this is taken away, and what I'm left with is negative 2. Okay, let's try that again with a different example so we can see how it works. Let's do this example right here. Let's start with 2 negatives. I'm just going to draw from here on out so that we're not moving so slowly. Okay, so I'm going to start with 2 negatives. And I'm supposed to take away 9 positives. But I don't even have a single positive there to take away. So does anybody have an idea of what we could do? Jake?
We could flip the sign to addition.
Yeah, we could change it to addition. What could we do with counters to make sure we had 9 positives to take away? Chelsea? How many 0 pairs do I need? Well, I need 9 positives. So I think I'm going to go through and I'm going to add 9 0 pairs. Okay. Okay, so I haven't changed the value here at all. This still has a value of -2 because this right here is a 0 pair and it has a value of 0. But now I have 9 positives that I can take away. So I'm going to circle my 9 positives and take them away. And then what I have left here is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 negatives. 11 negatives. Okay, so let's take a look at the 2 that we did above these ones. Because we got -2 here and -2 here, right? And this was 3 plus -5, and this was 3 minus 5. So these actually have the exact same value. And we already know that. When we subtract, or a positive number is the same as adding a negative. Okay, we went over that when we were doing the number line. Same thing here. We subtracted 9. That's the same as adding -9. You get the same response, the same answer. Okay, you guys try it. I want pictures, okay? So draw your counters in. Miss Lakey and I are going to walk around and make sure you guys are good to go. then just change it, okay? If you're having a hard time with modeling this, remember that we can rewrite all integer subtraction as addition. It's keep it, switch. So remember, subtracting 8 is the same as adding a negative 8. So if you want to rewrite it and then model it with counters, you totally can. Same thing here. You have 3, and you can change this to adding negative 6. Because remember that adding a negative is the same as subtracting. So if you prefer to write it like that and then model it, you definitely can do that. If you still need help, Miss Lakey and I are here for you. Okay, let's take a poll. How many of you like to do this by adding the 0 pairs and taking away? And then how many of you like to do it by switching it to addition first? Okay, so who likes to do the 0 pairs? Couple people. Who likes to just rewrite it as addition and then solve it? Okay, so it looks like rewriting it as addition is winning on this. So I will model it that way, okay? So here, we start with -1. And then I rewrote it as addition, so then I'm gonna add 8 negatives. And all together, this is 9 negatives. Make sense? Okay, let's try the next one. I rewrote it as addition. So we start with 3 positives. And I add 6 negatives. I circle up my 0 pairs here. This has a value of 0. And I'm left with 3 negatives. Okay. Let's rewrite these last 2 as addition. So this will be -5 plus -8. Remember that subtracting is the same as adding a negative. And so I'll have 5 negatives. And we'll add 8 negatives. Okay, so all together, how many negatives? 13 negatives. All right, next one, I'm going to rewrite it as addition. So this will be 5 plus -12. So 1, 2, oops, I'm supposed to do those in red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. 12 negatives. And we can pair these up here. So we have a 0 pair. And we're left with 7 negatives. Okay. Leave your stuff where it is and stand up. All right, heads or tails? Heads or tails? Okay, everybody pick. Heads or tails? Heads up here, tails down here. All right. All right, if you pick tails, have a seat. Heads, you can stay standing. All right, heads or tails? Pick, quick. All right, if you pick tails, have a seat. Ooh, we got a few left. Okay, pick heads or tails, please. Miss Lakey, keep them honest, okay? Oh, is everybody picking tails? Whoa, that's a risky little game. Okay, some people switch to heads. Dude, you switched and you're the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, let's play one more time. Stand up. All right, pick heads or tails. Heads or tails. All right. Woo, tails. Heads, sit down. If you have picked heads, have a seat. All right, here we go. Pick heads or tails. All right, heads, have a seat. Tails, stay standing. Woo, that like eliminated a whole bunch of y'all. Okay, here we go. Heads or tails, pick. All right, heads. So if you pick tails, have a seat. Oh, we're down to 2. Chelsea, are you still in it? No, okay. We're down to 2. Pick heads or tails, go quick before it stops. You're both heads. All right, you're both eliminated. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I don't wanna go on to the next part yet. So let's file this away. And if you want, you can take out that coloring sheet that I gave you a couple days ago and you can color. I have extras on the back table if you did not get one. That was rough.
Do we put this in then our homework after?
Yes. Hi, Carter.
The homework
The one from last
Today.
night or the one for today?
today and
How did it go?
6
Great. Yeah. Thank you. That's okay. I wanted them to see the table of contents. Pictures. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I was still recording that whole time. Sorry if you're at home. I didn't mean to keep recording that whole time.